Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross deserved the Oscar nod for challengers, but The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was the real movie score snub. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross have composed scores for some of my favorite films and television shows over the past 15 years. The Nine Inch Nails musicians, known for their collaborations with renowned auteurs such as David Fincher and Luca Guadagnino, broke into film composing with their moody and melodic score for The Social Network, 2010, which earned them an Academy Award. What I find most fascinating about their work is that they have no signature sound. Each score they compose feels completely distinct from the one before. Reznor and Ross' collaboration with Guadagnino on his 2024 film Challengers produced one of their most talked-about scores. Their compositions for the film were kinetic and surprising, and even sparked a dance party inside my movie theater. The score seemed like a shoo-in for award season glory. However, Challengers was ultimately left off the Oscar nomination list. Although I think their work was very deserving of recognition, this was not the first time the composers were overlooked. In my opinion, their striking score for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, 2011, arguably the pinnacle of their incredible body of work, was an even bigger snub than Challengers. The Challengers score definitely deserved to be nominated for an Oscar. From the very first scene of Challengers, I knew I was in store for something different. The film opens with a choir singing over calming orchestral music, what one might typically expect from a movie about tennis. However, that perception was quickly shattered. As the match between Patrick, John O'Connell, and Art, Mike Faced, begins, the two play in near silence until a subtle thumping emerges, gradually intensifying as the camera zooms in on Tashi Zendaya. The sound builds into a full-throttle techno beat, reminiscent of a video game, as Tashi watches the ball, completely invested in every stroke. While their score for Challengers sounds unlike anything Reznor and Ross have composed before, I feel it does share a key similarity with their other work. It delves into the inner workings of the characters and captures their essence while also highlighting the film's themes. Most composers aim to establish a movie's tone and mood, but every Reznor and Ross score is about defining the protagonists. While the characters grow older, they continue playing the same games with each other, both figuratively and literally. Challengers is a story about competition, power struggles, scheming, and desire. And the throbbing beats of the score mirror the anxiety and tension that those emotions create. Even when the music slows down and adopts a more traditional sound, it reflects the characters' deep insecurities. The film constantly jumps through time, and while the characters grow older, they continue playing the same games with each other, both figuratively and literally. Throughout award season, pundits highlighted the film's score and thought it was a given that Challengers would be nominated, especially after winning the Golden Globe. It was by far the most memorable and discussed score of the year, frequently mentioned in nearly every conversation about the film. While The Brutalist, Conclave, and The Wild Robot were all worthy nominees, Wicked primarily relies on compositions from the Broadway musical, and I found the Emilia Perez's music as forgettable as the film's songs. It's a shame that the Academy didn't make room for something as bold and original as the Challengers score. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was robbed of an Oscar nomination for its score. While Challengers missing out on an Oscar nomination was disappointing, it pales in comparison to the composers not being recognized for their masterful score for David Fincher's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The film is brutal and intense, and for me, no score in recent memory has completely captured the atmosphere of a movie quite like their work here. Similar to Challengers, the music feels like an extension of its protagonist. Lisbeth Salander is relentless, icy, and a true enigma, and the score, built from eerie, experimental sounds and indecipherable instruments, helped me connect with her on a deeper level. The composers discuss their creative process with Entertainment Weekly, revealing how they meticulously crafted the film's identity. We started recording things in a different way that was all based on performance, nothing programmed. And that would be my limited skills at stringed instruments, and trying passages that we would get that, and then we would process them in a way that would give us a real organic, layered feel that felt like something we'd never done before.